Welcome back to Hallowspeed, everyone. I hope you had a good break with stretchings and staying hydrated. We are back with Devil May Cry with JJ61Toro. Whenever you're ready, please take it away.
Thank you. Hello everyone, I'm JJ61Toro. I'm running DmC Devil May Cry, any percent Nuken Human today. I'm I'm with the great and amazing D Cosmic, who is gonna help me talk better today, because I'm always so nervous when I'm talking. Cosmic. Okay, I can't hear at least. Cosmic. Is everything okay?
I hear you, at least. I still hear you.
I can hear you, yeah.
Tori, are you able to hear Cosmic?
I aren't hearing anything from you right now, at least. I see.
But from everybody else?
Now I hear. Now I heard.
Oh, okay. You can hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
Oh, okay,
Perfect.
cool. Well, that's good. Okay.
Okay, yeah. No, we're good.
All right.
Okay, yeah. Sorry about that, guys. We just had to sort out on the back end, but now we are ready to go. So, fellas, when you are ready.
So what was the skin for now?
I believe it was dark, was it not? Hold on. Let me check the...
Yes, it was dark indeed.
Good, good. Yes, everything seems fine. So, the time can start in 3, 2, 1, go.
So, welcome to Ninja Theory's DmC Devil May Cry from 2013. This was a reboot of the DmC series that was commissioned by Capcom for Ninja Theory to give the series more of a Western take. Apparently what this meant was turning Dante from the Wacky Wahoo Pizza Man to the brooding boohoo edgelord guy that you see on screen. Dante is currently in a state of being called limbo. It's where everything's kind of turned upside down. You see all these little enemies here called the Stygians. They're sort of like, this game's cannon fodder enemy. And there's also this mysterious woman that's going to be appearing after this fight. Her name is Kat. She's sort of Dante's confidant, his link to Limbo. This game takes place between, going between the human world and Limbo, but the majority of the time we're going to be spending in Limbo. There are red orbs that we're going to be using for the primary currency for items, and then there's going to be white orbs, which we're going to use to buy abilities. This game's style ranking system is pretty lenient, I want to say. Most of the time save that we're going to be having is not necessarily from getting S ranks and stuff, but mostly good movement, doing some good skips, and doing the clean combat stuff. So first of all, Toro's going to come up here and get the ebony and ivory guns after hacking away with his rebellion sword there, or the broadsword. And the game wants you to just shoot down all these guys, but one little sword slam there from Dante is just going to all take them out on human. I should note, by the way, that this category specifically is on current patch. On 1.0, you would do a glitch called Infinite Glide, but that's no fun. So Toro's going to be running on Infinite Patch, so this is any percent and no Infinite Glide. Where there is going to still be infinite jumps used, which we'll get into in a little bit here. But right now, we're going to be going through the amusement park. And the amusement park conveniently has this Ferris wheel that Toro's going to just start knocking all of these small enemies into. And fortunately, Ninja Theory was kind enough to give us A single button for launches. The DMC2 has a dedicated roll button. This has a dedicated launch button. No lock on, but that's neither here nor there. Though the thing about this game is that they took a lot of inspiration from DMC2 in terms of the level design, in terms of, a lot of the environments you're going to go through are these big cities like the amusement park here, and then later we're going to get into like some big skyscraper buildings, some crazy like crowded streets and stuff. It was definitely like more of, it leans a little bit more into the horror aesthetics that were established in DMC1 and DMC2. I should also note that the DLC is available for this run. We start the game with 3 upgrade points that are going to allow us to buy the overdrive ability here. That's going to be the beams that are coming out of Dante's sword. They're extremely helpful in the early game here. It was decided, years and years ago when the speedruns for this game started, that they were going to allow all of the upgrades, like for the DLC and stuff, allowed in the run. So this does make the early game a little bit easier and does speed up the run a significant amount. This is the Hunter boss. It's the first boss in the game, and he's got a very interesting grappling gun here that shoots out a hand. So if you ever needed to grip something, maybe he needs help getting onto the top shelf to grab that last jar of peanut butter or something. Who knows? So Toro's going to be making his way through this sort of art gallery here, and then coming up on a room full of gears. Dante's going to let us know that things look good, but then not so good. If I was getting accosted by demons in an amusement park, I wouldn't exactly call that a good time myself. So, spot on there, Dante. Nice faux hawk too. But Toro's going to be trying to maintain an S-style rank here, and then he's going to be using Stinger, the sword dash there, in order to skip all of this room. You really just kind of want to stay right in the entryway there so that you're not going to risk having to get through the gears and all that. The S rank here, when you get to S rank and above, you get a little bit faster. So that's going to make him able to do drive.
Yeah, sad
and
I
overdrive.
didn't get it.
What's up?
Sad I didn't get it.
Oh, F. Okay. So when you're at S rank or above in this game, you're a little bit faster, so that does allow you to do drive and overdrive a little bit faster, which would result in a 1 cycle for this boss, or rather just like a quick kill. Or I guess maybe 1 phase, but we are going to go into the second phase here with the, where he's going to just be up on the crane here, and Toro's going to have to shoot him down with the guns in order to finish him off. Whoever did a number on his face really made it stick too. That scar is something fierce on the Hunter. And he's going down. This game's story revolves primarily around a sort of conspiracy theory where Mundus, the villain, originally from DMC1. This game's story is mostly like a mashup of DMC1 and DMC3, where we learn a lot about Dante's origins. We meet a couple of familiar characters from 3, but the big bad here is Mundus, and also the news network there, Raptor. They use a drink, or like a soft drink called Virility, which makes the population of Earth docile and basically susceptible to demon rain. And Dante kind of is sort of caught in the crossfire of all this right now. And he's taken to this building here by Kat and Virgil, his brother. You see Virgil very briefly, but he's there. Trust me, I know. So Dante sees a picture of his father, Sparta, on the wall, and after we take out these enemies here, Sparta's going to actually gift us with a new weapon, and that new weapon is going to be called Arbiter. It is a flame axe. We're also introduced to these enemies with shields here, so Toro's just going to stun him and then take him out with a slam there into the overdrive. And there's Sparta. Here comes the axe. And the axe will break through shields. It will break through some armor. It does quite a bit of damage. It's going to be one of our main forms of like burst damage in the game. The unfortunate thing about it is that like the first hit of it does do knockback, so you're not going to use it all the time because it is just going to slam away most enemies. The big fault here, or like the fault line, the big earthquake there that Toro's creating with the sword is going to allow him to just knock up both the enemies and then take them out.
Who's there?
So then we got a little bit of a downtime here if there's anything that you need to do, Tali.
I do actually have a donation, so that's perfect. We got £20 from Coffee Drinking Noob saying, "You're all wonderful."
Thanks, Coffee.
Yeah, reminder again that we do have some upcoming incentives for a couple of things. So you want to get that guitar percent in, or that Silent Hill Arcade donation incentive met. Still have time for those.
Very cool. So moving on through this this section of Limbo here, we're going to be taken to a room with all of these guys again. Let's see if we can actually get the knock up here. Nope, gets 2 out of the 3. And this is actually going to be the first, after this room here, it's going to be the first in a series of visions that Dante has, where he has to sort of jump across some platforms and free like a statue of his father from chains. And you can hear his mother also talking to him, as well as his brother Virgil. And this is how Dante is going to acquire a few of like the base mechanics in the game. The first mechanic that we're actually going to be acquiring is called I believe this is the demon pool on this part right here.
Yes.
So what the demon pool does is it brings platforms and enemies to Dante. It's called the Finian demon pool. And it's denoted by the red markers that you see, the red circles, as well as the orange sort of grip that Dante has when he can just, when he pulls them there. So this is pretty useful because in a little bit, we're going to actually use this to position enemies correctly for some skips and stuff. But most of this is really just like you going through these platforms. There's actually like, for a Devil May Cry game, there's a ton of platforming in this game. Fortunately, the game does give you your double jump right from the start, so that's really nice in terms of platforming. And it gives you quite a few tools specifically that help with platforming. We'll get a few of those later on. The big things that are going to be on this mission are going to be the demon pool there, and then the angel pool, which is coming up here next. Prior to that, though, Dante comes out of the vision there, kind of wondering like what's going on. He's still kind of new to this whole limbo thing. These jumps that you do, man, I don't know how you get it every time. It's like so
it's
picky.
just practice. Too many runs.
practice,
Too
okay.
many runs.
You can never do too many runs. There's also Dante's mother, Eva, there. This is, replaying the events of when Sparta and Eva were captured by the demons and accosted by them. It's part of why Dante and Virgil are separated from their parents in this game. We also see a new version of the flying enemies there that have a shield now, so Toro just has to grip them twice. He's also just going to pull these guys into the Pit of Doom, and that's going to end that fight. So as you can see, I think this is the only Devil May Cry actually where you can fall off the edge and suffer a little bit of damage, as well as the only one where you can actually pull enemies over a pit and dunk them into the ether. This is where Dante sees a photo of his mother Eva, and after this fight, she's also going to bestow upon us a weapon called Osiris. We're playing on the PC vanilla version, so on, I think a couple missions from now, we'll encounter some colored enemies that will be denoted, like the way you're going to deal damage to them is denoted by the weapons, because Dante in this game has both an angel mode and a demon mode. As far as the weapon switching goes, Rebellion is a neutral weapon. On the colored enemies, we are not going to be able to use Rebellion though, because they're going to be denoted specifically by either angel mode or demon mode. The entire place at this point is collapsing, and Dante just kind of has to get out. Toro's going to grab Angel Evade there, which Angel Evade is going to be a small teleport that Dante can do forward. This is going to aid us a little bit in movement. So you see here, he's just using it to cross these platforms a little bit quicker. It is going to be our main form of one of our main forms of movement throughout the game, though. In terms of normal movement, this game and I think DMC1 have both, you know, pretty intricate forms of movement because you're going to be using Stinger, you're going to be using Angel Evade, and then next mission actually we're going to be getting the flight mode. There's also a blue rose on the ground there. I think that's some sort of callback to Nero. His gun is called Blue Rose, but that's neither here nor there. This is actually where we're going to get the angel pool. Again, we're going to see sort of this vision of Dante's father in chains, and Dante has to go and break the chains, so to speak. So the angel pool here is actually going to pull Dante to objects, as well as later on is going to pull enemies to Dante. We'll see that probably in a little bit here coming up. I mean, I'm sorry, it's going to pull Dante to enemies. I misspoke. This is, I think, sort of a slow burn level that Ninja Theory decided to include because they really wanted to emphasize a lot of the environments in this game, and they really wanted to introduce people bit by bit to the base kit that you're going to be working with through the rest of the game. This is pretty good, I think, for newer players to the series, just because it doesn't really toss you in with a whole lot at the start. It introduces you to everything little by little so you can get used to having certain things at a time and then sort of just mesh it all together. Whereas Dante and like DMC4, prior to this game, it really threw you in the mix with like a lot to take in. So after this, he's going to be encountering the Stygians here, as well as the flying enemies. The guy in the center here of this it always gets stuck in the chandelier. I don't know why. It's oddly consistent for that enemy to get stuck in the chandelier, but again, neither really here nor there. So after picking up the blue rose here and coming through, Dante has to then sort of just escape the whole place because he's finished his business here. He knows what's going on now with his father's legacy, as well as, you know, I guess probably the pain that his mother has suffered. So also there's some hate on the wall. Fortunately, Dante is just going to be blocking out the haters this entire run. And he's got to join back up with Virgil and Kat, and that is going to pretty much end the mission right there.
Went decently. That went decently.
It's pretty good. Didn't fall down. I would have fallen down. I guarantee it. So, mission 3. There's gonna be another white rose, or not a white rose, a blue rose that we're gonna be picking up here. Dante or Toro, I'm sorry, is gonna be picking up enemy step as well as judgment. Oh, hacker, right? Okay, hacker level 2, and then judgment level 2, as well as Trinity Smash level 2. He's gonna be forsaking drive for these things. And so there's going to be a fight here initially, but by using the power of the Demon Pool and the Angel Pool, we're going to actually be able to get right up to that platform up there where the rose is. And that rose there, once we get to it, is going to give us an ability called Angel Flight. And Angel Flight allows Dante to glide a set distance. And this is going to be, this along with Angel Evade is going to become our main form of movement, pretty much over Stinger. It feels really, really nice to do this movement as well, and looks really cool too. I'm sorry, Angel Boost is the name of it, but Angel Flight we'll go with. So you can just do Angel Flights or Angel Boosts into the Angel Evade there, just to seamlessly transition into the flights and just really save a whole lot of time on movement. Once again, like, I really just want to comment, the environments in this game they look really, really nice. I'm generally pretty happy when I play this game. All the stages look really different, and all the colors pretty much are pretty nice. A lot of stuff just kind of pops out. And Trinity Smash, I'd say, is a move for Arbiter, or the Axe. The move for the Axe, where it deals 3 hits at the very, very end. And the way you do this is by doing 2 hits and then delaying the last hit. This game, not a lot of people know, and I didn't know this for a little while either, is that you can actually start a chain, like a delay chain, with one weapon and then finish it with the other weapon. So something that you're going to be seeing Toro do throughout the run is he's going to start a combo with Rebellion and then end it with Trinity Smash from Arbiter. This, I believe, is called Offset. This is similar to Dodge Offset that's in Bayonetta as well, if anybody's familiar with that. So there you go, right there.
Annoying.
A couple of hits into the Trinity Smash. The enemies here in this game, their positioning tends to kind of wiggle around quite a bit, so you can get some really, really nice lines in mobs if they decide to cooperate with you, or you can just kind of end up with them sort of whipping around. The chainsaw enemies here, not to be confused with the chainsaw Maginis from RE5, they're just going to get cleaned up by some Arbiter. And that is going to end the level, actually, right after this cutscene. It's a really, really quick level, cutting out a lot of platforming and the fight. So moving into mission 4. This is, I think, where things start to get crazy, because this is really where we're going to see the skips start to come out, because now Toro has all the stuff that he needs to really start just breaking the game wide open.
Let's see if I even can do this first one at least.
Yeah, the first one's pretty tough. So this infinite climb here, essentially what Toro's going to be doing is chaining the angel flight into the angel grab. And this is going to allow Dante to sort of just ascend up walls for now. We'll get into a way to do this a little bit more universally later. But there he goes, all the way up.
That was almost messing it completely.
Yeah, so this is going to be skipping a fight trigger here. There's a pretty long fight here as well, involving an unskippable cutscene.
Got it.
We're not really trying to do that, but did you get it?
I got it.
Excellent, nice, cool. So that's the first fight skipped. We're going to actually skip another fight here by doing another infinite climb. Every time, like, I go out into these areas, it's just like, I can show you the world. Shining, shimmering, I can't harmonize, so it's a little bit too early for that. So moving onward, there's going to be a third infinite climb right here. And this is going to make it so that he skips another cutscene, as well as a bunch of like crumbling rubble that's going to get in his way. He also kind of has to do this because since he skipped the last fight, the cutscene with Cat is not going to activate. So in order to proceed further in the game, he has to do this infinite climb. This fight is not going to activate. That's right. Yeah, it doesn't activate on this version. So
it doesn't activate in either version. If you do that, it doesn't activate.
Okay, well, there we go. Nice.
Otherwise, we wouldn't do that skip.
That's right. I'm thinking of NMG. Yeah. So all the fights there are skipped. We are going to have a fight coming up here in a bit. Those enemies which we should have been introduced to a little earlier, but we skipped past them. They're like wheels of debris, wheels of fire. They're really of no consequence. They're like an enemy that's not an enemy. You just kind of shoot them and then they're just down. He's going to take out these shielded Bathos here with some sword slams into some Trinity smashes on the Stygians. Really nice Stygian cooperation.
God dang it. I couldn't turn.
The Frost enemies here. Go ahead.
I couldn't turn quickly enough.
The Frost Knights here, by the way, you see how they're glowing blue, and he's only using Osiris on them. That's because in this game, when an enemy is colored a certain way, you can only damage them and put them in hit stun with a certain weapon, or weapons that are colored that way. So in this case, the only weapon we have access to in order to hit the Frost Knights, the Blue Knights, is Osiris. Because they can only be damaged by angelic weapons. Enemies that are going to be red are going to only be able to be damaged by demon weapons like the axe. And Chainsaw Magini is going down. We're also introduced to, I forget the name of this enemy.
Brood, I think it is.
Brood, interesting. And it's a big boy.
Tyrant.
It's gonna go down.
Tyrant. Yeah.
Tyrant. Not to be confused with the perfect life form. That dies to a single magnum shot, but yeah. So now again, whole level is just collapsing. Cat tells Dante, Run, Dante, and he's like, I am running. Can't you see, woman? I'm trying to work here. And that's going to be the end of the level.
Did
Now
it
that
go
the news
that
has informed
badly
us-
at
go ahead.
least? Did it go that badly at least?
Yeah, it was pretty good, actually. That mission can go pretty badly if you mess up some of the skips, but he got it. He got it. This is gonna be another encounter with Limbo, but there's a little bit of a walking section here if there's anything that needs to be talked about for on your end, Tali.
Well, this might be a good time to remind everyone why we're here raising money, because right now thousands of animals are suffering silently with no chance of ever receiving veterinary care. Like you, we don't think this is fair. Worldwide Veterinary Service provides free expert care to animals in need all over the world, and they do this by sending vets where they are needed most, training them to increase the standard of care globally, and by shipping urgent aid supplies worldwide every week of the year.
Very cool. So this factory is where they make the virility, and by they I mean like Mundus and his whole organization, as well as, you know, I guess it's like the government of this earth. So Dante is going to find the source of how virility is created. After trudging through this very giant Amazon warehouse, he'll be thrust back into Limbo, and we'll be doing another skip. I don't actually know the name of this skip unless we just call it M5 skip.
It's something like M5. I haven't given a name at all.
You gotta dub these things, man. You gotta christen them, so to speak.
Because it can be two things. Either the infinite jump one or the enemy one. Because you can do it either way.
True. Yeah, that's true. So basically what Toro's going to be doing here is either another infinite climb or an enemy. I think he's going to probably go with the infinite climb since he's doing any percent.
I'm doing this one because I want to be safe. Because it's not easy to at all, the other one.
Alright. So he's going to take one of the Bathos here, the flying enemies, and he's going to force it to come to the other end of the shipping container. And then he's going to use it to pull himself up. And the enemy step, I should note, by the way, allows you to jump off enemies. So he's going to be jumping off an enemy that he's pulling to himself and then flying directly over the fight trigger. And that just allows him to just keep, you know, cruising along with the angel boost here. We're going to also be encountered by another wheel of flame. You see a lot of the propaganda on the walls here as well. The virility, the ways of Limbo just infecting the hallways and stuff. Good old consumerism. Ninja Theory with that those hot takes in the political commentary of this game. Toro also has to activate a checkpoint here just because skipping the last fight would actually, if he completed this fight here, it would soft lock the game. So he has to restart a checkpoint so the game flags it so that, you know, the other fight is now finished. Here's the Red Knights. Like I talked about before, they can only be damaged by demon weapons. Fortunately, Arbiter deals quite a bit more damage than Osiris, so he's taken down pretty easily. Osiris also has a mechanic called Feed, which is where if you use Osiris for a little while, it will power up. You know, it'll feed off the souls of the enemy since it's a scythe, and it'll do extra damage. The soundtrack to this game also, by the way, the song that plays during this fight always reminds me just how good it is. This is really something that Combi Christ kind of nailed home with this. Combi Christ and Noisia are responsible for the soundtrack for this game. Really, really cool OST. One of the better parts of running this game. So he's gonna knock up the dude with the. That's a move, by the way. That sword spin is called prop. And he's just going to use it to reflect or parry the enemy's ice back at it, because this game does allow you to parry enemies' attacks back at them, most notably that ice and some attacks from the Bathos and stuff. So that allows you to freeze the enemy with its own ice. And then we're going to be going into the next room here. There's just going to be some hallways here that we're going to angel boost through. The last fight here has another pit that Toro's going to be dropping the enemies into. and he's going to be using, once again, the demon pool to do so. It's a lot quicker than just fighting these dudes straight up, especially because on this version of the game, there's the acid that is going to be coming out, since all the acids get spilling out onto the floor. This was actually removed in definitive edition of the game. A lot of little things about that game that sort of make it what it is. So there's that. Then 2 tyrants are going to come out, and Dante is going to ask them who wants to be Limbo's biggest loser. And then Toro's just going to go ahead and take them out with some Arbiter. Clean, dude.
You win.
And congratulations, you win.
You okay? That looks
So that's the end of mission 5. This next mission is actually an encounter with the next boss. Her name is Succubus, and she is the source of all the virility that's being made. So Dante, with the help of Kat and Virgil, they've deduced that, you know, this is what we need to do. We need to take out the Succubus, and so they stop making virility and brainwashing people, making them docile. So Toro grabs something called Demon Evade here. Demon Evade, when you do a perfect evade, so like if you dodge just before an enemy hits you, there'll be a slight slowdown and you'll see the word perfect evade pop up. This actually increases Dante's output tremendously. And this is going to be used a lot during the run, primarily on bosses, to just really deal a lot of damage. The attacks from this boss are pretty telegraphed. And she swings really, really wide, so you can pretty much stand anywhere and take her down from that. Once Toro does the Demon Evade, he is just going to want to do an overdrive in order to take her out. So we should be getting into it just here in a second. There's that. Gonna maybe make a stop off there. Yup, grab overdrive level 2. There we go.
I should have bought it on the mission screen, but I forgot to sell that one item, one skill.
All good. So he's just gonna wait for an attack here, and then he's just gonna sit in demon mode and get the perfect evades into the overdrive, and boom. Succubus is going to take a lot of damage. Again, this is human, but don't be fooled. Demon Evade really does just boost your damage that much. You can really clear out enemies even on some higher difficulties with that. Dante now has to take down the wires that are hanging her from the ceiling. I believe they're, harvesting some kind of demonic energy off of her in order to, create what makes the virility so potent. She is a bit of a foul mouth, by the way. People plug your ears if she's very insulting to Dante. She calls him a lot of names. Although Dante did say that she didn't look a day over 12,000, so maybe she's justified, but I don't know. She's kind of mean. And I think we're actually getting into the final phase of the fight here. This has actually been some really, really good RNG as far as the attacks that she's giving Toro. She can do some like acid spits as well, and that will just kind of delay the cycle. But fortunately, she's just been always giving Toro the hand swipes immediately.
Well, she doesn't do the speed that often. She does that if you mess up that hand swipe, then she might do it. But otherwise, I don't think she can do it.
That sounds about right, yeah. I swear I've gotten it like as a first attack sometime, but maybe I just messed up and didn't remember.
That's really unlucky then.
Yeah, I mean that fits the bill for me. So now that Dante lets her know that she's dumped, we're gonna actually just head on out, and actually she's gonna be accosting us. She's going to continue to hurl insults at us along with debris and tell us that she cannot be killed. She actually forgot, I think, that there is a giant blender at the end of this room, and Dante's just going to give her what for, and you're not going to hear the line because Toro's going to take it down too quickly, but he's going to say, you know what your problem is? You're too clingy. This Dante is a little bit weird in terms of his characterization, but he's got the puns on deck still, so I back it. And now we're going to get a new weapon called Eric's. It's the gauntlets of this game. They look basically like flaming Hulk hands. And they're going to be the new form they're going to be a weapon that actually allows Toro to do a new form of infinite climbs. Because they have a move called Stomp that he's going to be able to chain into the Angel Boost. So he's now not going to have to use walls in order to do infinite climbs. He's going to be able to do them just free form. We're going to be thrust into limbo once again after being knocked off of a bridge in that cutscene. And you see that big tower there? That's actually the news tower that guy with the lovely comb over in some of the earlier missions had. His name is Bob Barbas. And he is the news reporter for Raptor News. So this section of the game is really just going to be working towards taking him down. And so we're going to drop these dudes in the drink. And with Eric's little slam there, really effective at getting environmental kills. Especially because you don't actually have to go with the enemy. This is also an infinite climb here in order to skip the fight entirely. Going right over the fight trigger there. There's another version of that skip where you can actually pull an enemy upwards and towards, and then you fly through a wall that has no collision on it. But since we're doing any percent, we do that version. There's a little bit of a neat movement trick here where you can actually you use Angel Evade in order to get you save a little bit of time having to do some normal platforming, but you're gonna grip. Toro's gonna grab an Angel Grip here and then just keep on going. This skip right here is pretty big. It's another infinite climb, and he's going to be skipping a decent portion of the level by coming on over here to where there's a key that's not really relevant to what we're doing in this game. But he's going to be able to just climb up completely and just go pretty much out of bounds and skip a lot of the level that way. There we go. There's a lot of weird out-of-bounds traversal in this game, so he's trying to find his way up there. There we go. Now you can see very clearly how this whole level is laid out as it loads in. There's a lot of this. There's a lot of fights being skipped right now, and this is going to go pretty much to the end of the level. There's only one fight left. Once he ascends up here, and then goes all the way over. It's just gonna be just water for days, man. This level is so hydrated. Alright, here we go. And then that's it. Back in bounds now. Nice of them to leave that open for us. I appreciate it, Ninja Theory. At this point, we're going to be introduced to a character named Phineas. He is a demon that's missing an eye, and he needs Dante's help. He's accosted by harpies. They're the big flying demons with wings. They kind of look like porcelain dolls as well. And Dante's going to take them out and then give Phineas some help. They can be a little bit finicky, I should note. Toro is specifically using Rebellion here just to keep them in place so that he can then slam them with Eric's. Moving on into Mission 8. I believe there's another infinite climb here in just a moment. This is going to skip pretty much the entire level except for one or two fights. It's going to skip a huge section with a demon train, which is good for headphone users because that train is really, really loud. However, I think we are going to actually be able to see it loaded in on the side here.
Yeah,
which
you
is really
should.
funny to
That's
see.
there. It's
Yeah,
right
there we
there.
go. So there is the demon train loaded off there to the side, ready to be activated. but we're not going to be messing with that at all. We're just going to be moving on through. Dante's looking for Phineas's eye here, and he has to get through all of these fights and stuff in order to do that. Fortunately, Toro's just going to jump into the darkness there and then activate the cutscene that is going to put him back in bounds. Right there. So once again, we're going to have to fight some harpies as well as the Bathos, the flying enemies, and just take them out. Just the simple chains of rebellion, aerial slashes into the slam down with Eric's. Hulk smash, as does Dante.
Really
I always wanted a
clean.
pair of Hulk hands when I was a kid, and now looking back, I'm really glad that I never bothered to pester my parents for it. They look so goofy in retrospect, especially when you see them like as flaming Hulk hands, like in this game. And then out here, yeah, I guess actually we do see like one instance of the demon train here. I don't think it gets too loud here, but just in
No,
case
you
are
don't
using
get the
headphones.
train at all because you don't
You don't
trigger
get the
the
train at
first
all?
one.
Oh my gosh, this category is awesome. I need to start playing this category. These guys are called I think it's the Rage. That's right, yeah, the
Rage. Indeed.
And so they are Angie boys, or Angie cats, Ringer, etc. So they get taken. They have a lot of like lunging attacks and stuff. The axe makes pretty quick work of them. When one of them goes down, they go into a, you guessed it, enraged state. By the way, this whole area is deloaded. Because Toro never actually activated the rest of the level. So there's going to be a wall here on this fight for the Tyrant where Toro's going to kind of have to hope that this guy cooperates and doesn't lose too much time. You see the wall here isn't even collapsed. So he can pull these guys to him, the knights with the shields. However, that Tyrant is stuck behind the wall. And then Toro's going to actually have to do an infinite climb to get out. So the Tyrant actually is just acting like he's running into a wall, like even though it's just totally invisible. Thank goodness for Trinity Smash, man. It doesn't seem to be really cooperating though. So there we go. Very cool. And then we're just going to do an infinite climb to get out of the level and back to Phineas. For whatever reason, even though this entire area is deloaded, a lot of triggers just haven't been hit. The game, as long as you have Phineas's eye, will just allow you to end the mission, which is, again, pretty nice of them. It says a lot about how a game handles sequence breaking in terms of how it's designed. So when there's not too many triggers to prevent you from proceeding, no matter kind of what you skip, that's really good for a speedrun. And it's nice to know that, like, you know, the game is still pretty stable despite everything that's kind of been messed with on the structure level. Mission 9 here. Also, this little wall here has like no collision, so you can actually just angel dodge through it. It's pretty neat. Once again, Phineas just tells Dante, like, hey, you need to go and get this thing in order to unlock some power, and you also need to take out Bob Arbus, and Dante's like, oh, okay, thanks, dude. The Siren enemy we're going to be introduced to here, she actually is surrounded by an angelic bubble, and as well as has a demonic sword floating above her. We're going to use that sword against her, and then slam her down into the ether. This next part here is where Dante's actually going to be getting his Devil Trigger. And like I've said before during some of the other Devil May Cry runs, Devil Trigger is a powered up state that Dante has in every game. In this version specifically, it's going to launch enemies into the air, allowing you to do air combos on them. Something that a lot of people know about this game is that Ninja Theory's original vision of this Devil Trigger was that if you were on the ground, Devil Trigger was going to drain faster, and in the air it would drain slower. However, they forgot to adjust the drain of Devil Trigger once they scrapped that idea, so Devil Trigger always drains at like 120%. It's kind of wild. After we destroy this little chain here, there's going to be a cutscene that plays. Normally, if you were using the default costume, you would see Dante's coat get red. As sort of a callback to the main timeline. But I believe in this version or in this costume, his eyes do at least get red, like a yellowish.
Well, his face should be same, but the costume don't do anything, I think. Did he have anything special? No, only eyes.
He's got the red eyes, yeah. He doesn't have the veins on him, but yeah.
Lame.
So all enemies launch into the air. The first thing that we're gonna do is just knock them out with Arbiter. Boom. And that's it. This skip right here is actually pretty cool. There's a fight that you would normally have to do after grabbing the Devil Trigger, and instead we're gonna just jump onto the top of this statue that's sort of floating in midair, and then use it to cross over to another side of the level in order to skip that fight.
Okay, now I'm messing it up a little bit. Come on.
Welcome to my world. I'll just let you concentrate.
Got it.
There we go. So yeah, you just saw him there, just kind of mantle onto some very tricky geometry. Now he's just gonna take these harpies, dunk them into the limbo water by using the Devil Trigger launch state. The Devil Trigger launch state not only makes enemies totally susceptible to anything that you want to throw at them, it will also remove color restrictions on weapons. So if you were fighting a Frost Knight, you could just damage it with anything if you were in Devil Trigger. He actually used the Devil Trigger there to deactivate the angelic bubble on the Siren and then just knock it down.
Is it Siren or Witch? I think it's Witch.
Yeah, Witch, yeah. I just call it the Siren.
Yeah.
But, you know, which is which.
Yeah.
It's neither here nor there. All right, so mission 10. Mission 10 is the boss showdown with Bob Barbas. We're gonna grab a bunch of Devil Stars to refill Devil Trigger. A few, like I think it's 4 small Devil Stars and 1 large Devil Star. So Bob Barbas is not a nice guy. Spreads a lot of literal fake news across this Earth that Dante is inhabiting, and brainwashes the citizens of it in order to try and, you know, turn them against Dante, make him look bad, call him a menace. He's sort of like this game's J. Jonah Jameson, really just sort of hell-bent on calling someone that is a hero a menace. So, you know, Dante's just going to take him off the air. And this fight, this is actually a very, like, visually stunning fight, just because you're fighting this giant head of Bob Barbas, and it's actually going to take you like through some news segments where Bob is just going to be spouting his propaganda about Dante. You're also like literally, I guess like the idea here is that you're just literally inside a TV, which is kind of neat. On this version of the game, Bob actually like gets stunned when you do. You have to hit some platforms that are on the floor, or some buttons that are on the floor, in order to stun him and bring him into a vulnerable state, which then will allow you to use the axe to take out all of his health. I know there's not a lot of like. This game isn't like a straight up horror game, but this very large head of this old man with his comb over is probably one of the most horrifying things that I've seen in video games. It's unfortunate because that's going to be me one day. So now that we've taken out his first health bar here, just going to launch into the first news segment here. There's nothing that you can actually do to speed these up. So you kind of just take this opportunity to build some Devil Trigger, build some style, maintain a consistent style rank. Style rank in this game is really easy to maintain, especially like the SSS ranks. If you like do a giant slam with Eric's into a crowd of enemies, you pretty much shoot immediately to SSS. It's kind of wild. This was later like adjusted in Definitive Edition, but it's still kind of egregious in some cases. This is also, like I said, a little bit of an auto scroller. So Tali, if you have anything.
Well, this might be a good time to mention again that we are slowly approaching the end of Hallowspeed, and we do still have 3 donation incentives to meet before that happens. So we do have coming up Ultra Kill is the first one coming up, where you can increase the difficulty and the time by adding a couple extra boss fights. If you want to donate for that, it's still another £194 to go. And then the probably bigger one to meet would be Guitar Percent for Resident Evil 3 Remake. So it's still got a ways to go, but if you want to see that in some hours, then you know what to do.
I'm actually really curious how that run works, so make sure you get those donations in so we can see that.
Yeah, me too.
So again, with the power of his Saiyan energy, I mean his demonic energy, Dante's going to take out Bob for a second time here, and then punch him in his other right eye. There's this thing with the Devil May Cry series where they just want you to just beat up old dudes. You beat up the Pope in DmC 4. You beat up your malding dad in DmC 5. Now you're beating up this aging news anchor in this game. It's just, you know, just the young whippersnappers come into town. Yeah. What's that song? The boys are back in town. I guess it's a single boy this time, but we'll let it go. The propaganda here is especially funny because it starts talking about like there's this one girl that's like he just like totally just like killed her and stuff. This is I should note, by the way, the Spanish cast for this game really went all out. They really do a good job. I play with Spanish dub quite a bit, not because it's faster or anything, but there is a meme with this game called El Donde, where there was a mod that appeared that gave Dante like a mustache, similar to like a mariachi player, and it was called El Donte, El Exterminador de Demonios, or Exterminator, or, you know, Killer of Demons. And so I play with Spanish dub quite a bit, and that Spanish cast, it like sounded like they were really having a good time doing this game. Some of the English cast tends to sound a little bit mad, or maybe not like they're having the greatest time, but yeah, the Spanish cast really went all out. Also, Bob is down. Seems like he has a heart attack here, and he gives us a new weapon called the Aquila. They are some glaives or little spinny blade things. Toro is going to be buying a move called buy-in for them, which is going to pull enemies to him. He's also going to be buying the aerial version of it. In addition to the, are you going to buy level 2 caliber? Okay, no. And then that's right, skirmish level 2. Skirmish level 2 is just a powered up version of the Aquila's like regular aerial slashes. So this also banger alert here on this song coming up. It's called Gimme Death Race. The skip coming up here as well is actually like huge. But before we get into that, the buy-in, you're going to actually use this off of the first 2 hits of Rebellion to pull all the enemies in and then just smash them up with the axe. This is definitely, I think, Dante's best form of crowd control in this game. It's a really, really neat addition to his toolkit. So now that we take this guy out, I forget what this
Butcher,
name is. Butcher, right? Yeah, I always think Cleaver, but never Butcher. So now we're gonna use these guys to fly through this wall with no collision, and then we're gonna be using this aerial dash called Caliber in order to skip a lot of this level. We're just kind of flying through the air here, and then we're gonna land on top of this. He's gonna have to do an infinite climb to readjust himself. This whole area here, Mundus and the feds have infiltrated the Order, or the lair of the Order, which is Virgil's organization. And so Dante now has to save Cat.
Okay, that was bad.
Uh-oh.
I can fix this. It's just annoying.
That's all good, yeah. I mean, it's an infinite climb for a reason, so.
Okay, this is really annoying.
Uh-oh. I'm stuck. Okay, there we go. That should be alright.
I might get up. Yes.
Got it?
Okay, got it.
Cool, excellent. So, normally you would have to be doing a whole lot of fights here and stuff, but instead, we're just infinite climbing along all of the along the top of everything here, and then we're just gonna make it like right to the end. This is definitely, I think, the biggest skip in the game. It just skips like pretty much an entire level. You had to pause there for a second and let the level load in. But it's really wild seeing this level from the top. Just because like all the hallways here otherwise just seem pretty constrictive. He hits the checkpoint
Wait,
there.
what? Wait, what?
What the heck?
Wait, what? He didn't
This
hit
is
anything.
not... What?
Okay, that's funny. That's funny.
Okay, so normally what would be happening is I think you like teleport at the what's it called? Is this where you're supposed to teleport? Or this is the place you're supposed to teleport to, right?
Yeah, I'm supposed to go here, but somehow he didn't do the attack for the parrying
Oh,
part.
okay. I thought you were supposed to teleport at the Dream Runner fight, or just at the end of the level.
No, I have to do that fight, so I triggered the Dream Runner, the Trekavak.
Yeah. Right, yeah. So the Dream Runner here, they're an enemy that is basically like this game's assassin. It's like the closest thing to a rival fight that this game has throughout the course of it. Unfortunately for them, they're really susceptible to Devil Trigger, and then you can just take them out with the axe.
But yeah, they are either Trekavak or Dream Runner, and that was Trekavak, but I don't remember the exact differences between the two of them, only about the clothes.
Yeah, Trekavak wears like a red mask, whereas the regular Dream Runners wear a white mask.
I don't think they wear anything pretty much or something. It doesn't look like
they don't wear a white mask. Yeah, it's just like their face is white. Yeah. This section normally is an auto scroller, but Toro's actually going to be, saying, you know what? This isn't The Last of Us. I'm not going to walk through this whole section. So we're just going to be rolling out. There we go. There is also like this little pillar here off to the right that has like a bunch of like default textures on it, I think for just Unreal Engine. This game was done on Unreal Engine, by the way, so whereas like DMC4 was done on MT Framework and DMC5 on RE Engine. But again, you're just gonna skip right to the end here. This saves, I think, like a minute-ish, probably a little bit more on this version. Once again, just get to walk along the whole top of here, or rather jump hop, and then you activate the cutscene here to bring you back in bounds. And Dante is currently in limbo, but Kat is in the human world. The federal agents are coming after her, but with the power of Kat's spray paint, she can create tags for Dante to influence the human world. That's why he's actually able to pull down that equipment there onto the federal agent.
We've got to find Virgil.
Through here.
She definitely just is going at a light jog for somebody that's in mortal danger, to be honest. I'm gonna need her to get with the picture here. And at this point, both Kat and Dante are just going to go and save Virgil. This, I think, is actually probably the first time that we're going to see Virgil in full attire during the run, just because we skipped so many cutscenes with him in it. There he is, very briefly. He's off in that. He's trapped over there. He's trying to hack a panel to get some data and stuff. Toro parries the butcher's attacks back at him, and then he just goes boom. This room here, for all the fights that happen, Ninja Theory did not seem to think that people were just going to drop the enemies into the abyss, which is really what Toro's going to do to most of the enemies in this. So he's going to be just using the aerial slashes with Rebellion, and then just using the aerial buy-in in order to just take out all these enemies here. Same thing here with the chainsaw enemies. Just pull them into the abyss, and then parry the butcher, and then he's down. Wheels of Fire also make a return here, in addition to these. Well, this is, I think, the first time that you see these little guys here. They're just all gone, though. Sad. So the Wheels of Fire make a return, and Dante starts shooting at them, and then Virgil is going to finally give him another gun. There's only 3 guns in this game. The pistols, the shotgun, and then a gun called Kablooey, which we don't even use, so it's not even really worth explaining. The shotgun is a shotgun. It, does a lot of damage up close. Deals a lot of damage in general. It has a very weird sound accompanying it. At this point, actually, also you see all of the animations that are used in the guns. Kablooey shares the same exact animations with the shotgun. Interacting with this statue here, by the way, saves time. I believe it skips some sort of dialogue here, so that's why you see Toro interacting with the statue.
It actually doesn't. I don't think it skips dialogue, but skips the awkward silence part by some reason.
There we go. Which is good. So here, whenever Toro pulls in one of the harpies, he's going to use the shotgun to actually take off their wings, which is one of the better parts of the shotgun for the run, is that it allows you to really just crowd control them a little bit better.
And that last harpy actually killed herself by going to the pit.
Nice. Good of her to do you a solid like that. And then I think this is where the rages appear again, and then you just get to dunk them into the pit. I always forget if there's like one more fight after that. And there we go. Should be done like right about now. And that should be the end of the level. I do want to give a little bit of a light sensitivity warning coming into this next mission, the nightclub. There's going to be a lot of flashing lights. So if you do have a sensitivity to that, please look away for a little while until this section is over. It's only a few minutes, but there's a lot of orange and a lot of bright flashing lights everywhere. So do want to make sure that everybody is aware of that. This is, like I said, orange the stage. Somebody at Ninja Theory was like, do you guys want bright flashing lights or really orange lights? And someone just went, yes. And then this stage was born. This stage is home to Mundus's baby mama, Lilith, who bears his child. And Toro is going to be, again, using the pulls here with the Aquila in order to get the enemies into him, and then using the Trinity Smash to take them out. Lilith is going to make Dante go through a series of trials, which she calls The Devil Has Talent. And Dante really is just not pleased. He's just very unamused by these games that Mundus and Lilith are playing because they've kidnapped Cat. And he actually, at this point, he's had sort of his little moment of humanization where he starts to care about Cat and decides that he wants to, see beyond himself, maybe see a greater purpose beyond that. And that includes looking out for his newfound semi-girlfriend. That is a very big nose on screen, too. So if you weren't sensitive to flashing lights, maybe sensitive to the big nose. This clear right here with where you use the corner to pull everybody in is just so beautiful when it just comes out correctly. If you can take out every enemy in that in one go, it's just really a sight to see. The hitbox on Trinity Smash is just so crazy big. It's unbelievable sometimes how big it is. So now that Lilith is going to bust out the subwoofers and stuff, we're going to get into the actual Devil Has Talent segment. There's a lot of cat jams as well in this section. Noisia, I think, this is about where they take over the soundtrack from Combi Christ. And yeah, there's some bops here. I always like getting to this stage, even though there is that light sensitivity warning there. It is really cool to hear some of the tunes on this stage. Very good first room there. Gotta hit these play buttons. Subscribe to the YouTube. This is the big cat jam right here. Yeah, baby. Toro here is going to be using Devil Trigger in order to knock all the enemies up. And then, actually, another thing, that's the next fight. Yeah,
No,
it's the
I
next fight,
used
so-
here
Oh, there
to-
it is. Okay, yeah.
I just want to
nice.
kill that one guy first to make it a little bit fast.
Makes sense. It is a speed run.
At least
So-
easier, at least.
So now that we've cleared through there, you're gonna see Toro actually use Stinger here, and this is because if you try and go past these enemies without knocking them off the edge or anything, the camera is gonna always prioritize them. You see it kind of goes off to the left there, following the enemy, and it's pretty much impossible to see where you're going along those narrow walkways. And like I said, you can fall off the edge in this game and just take a lot of damage, so we just want to avoid that. So it might be a little bit slower, but just for consistency's sake, it's really nice. There's also a really weird thing with this hallway here that makes the game like slow down. If you're running turbo mode on like Definitive Edition, it will actually always slow down at that part for whatever reason, just because it's loading in a bunch of stuff. Also, just gonna use the stop there to take out all the enemies.
And probably for the dialogue or something, because you wouldn't hear that dialogue easily or something.
That makes sense too, yeah.
At least it
These
feels
skips
like
here-
that.
These skips here are not really like glitches. They are just kind of exploits of the demon pool again, where Toro is going to be just using Angel Boost as well as Demon Pool in order to get to these, get off of these platforms and then just go through further into the level. Doesn't have to do those. Just going to skip right over to this next fight with, I believe this is Jukaback.
Yes.
And we're just going to use Devil Trigger and the axe on him again in order to take him out. I don't know who invited the assassin to the nightclub, but I sure didn't, so get out of my face, dude. At this point, Toro is going to be buying a purple cross, which is going to not only increase his max Devil Trigger, but it's also going to refill his current stock of Devil Trigger. And he's going to use this in order to fight the rages in the next room. All of them are either colored red or blue, but Toro is just going to be using Arbiter to take all of them out. And in order to do this, he is going to activate Devil Trigger to just negate the effects of the colored enemies. So moving on in, I believe that there's 3 waves here. The first one is a blue rage, the second is a blood rage or a red rage, and then the third wave is just the 2 of them back to back. Or 2 of them at the same time, I guess I should say. And then at that point, we're going to be moving into another boss fight against Mundus' son. This creature is rather grotesque in terms of how demons look in this game. So basically what we got to do is Lilith is inside of Mundus' spawn, and you have to pull her out of there by attacking him enough times. And to do this, you have to pull down one of the arms here on the side and then attack the eyeball that is opened up. And what Toro's going to be doing here, using Skirmish level 2 as well as the aerial slashes from Rebellion and Devil Trigger here, is to build up an S rank in order to try and one-cycle the baby. So then he's just going to kick the mom in the face after pulling her right out, which is hella BM. But then he's going to activate Devil Trigger into a Trinity Smash, into 3, just like 6 strikes or whatever, the basic 3-strike combo, and baby is down. That cycle is, if you don't hit that, you lose like a minute on this fight. It saves so much time between all the unskippable cutscenes and all the extra animations that you have to go through, as well as depleting another one of the baby's health bars. This section here is just sort of a auto scroller. Dante is escaping with Cat and Virgil. They're both in the Virgil mobile, and Dante is in limbo. And they're kind of just like flying through a lot of perilous sections, and Dante just kind of has to do some platforming and knock a few things around in order to clear the way for them. You see everything kind of like frozen once we get to the limbo state of things, which I guess that makes sense for a place called Limbo. Everything's frozen. That's one of the cooler shots in the game too, is the car sails over Dante. This is very much like a Fast and Furious moment, just with demon hunting. Not really a whole lot to this level. So again, Tali, if you've got anything, this is a pretty good place for it.
Alright, then I will remind everyone again why we're here raising money for charity, because right now thousands of animals are suffering silently with no chance of ever receiving veterinary care. Like you, we don't think this is fair. Worldwide Veterinary Service provides free expert care to animals in need all over the world, and they do this by sending vets when they are needed most, training them to increase the standard of care globally, and by shipping urgent aid supplies worldwide every week of the year. Thank you so much for everyone who's donated so far. It is really appreciated.
Absolutely. So that should clean up this mission here. And now we're going to get into the sort of the bank heist kind of section of the game. Not a bank that they're going to be heisting, though. They're actually going to be breaking into Mundus's headquarters. Kat, when she was kidnapped by Mundus, was able to somehow memorize the entire layout of Mundus's lair, and she's going to use that to the advantage of her, Dante, and Virgil to devise a plan to go and confront Mundus. So while Kat instructs you on everything that you're going to be doing, as well as what Virgil's going to be doing, you're going to be following through on it. So while the whole city is collapsing, Dante is going to be just heading on up to the lair here, this big skyscraper. Pretty big spectacle, really. Roads are just flying everywhere. It's pretty wild. I've definitely fallen down there and lost like 30 seconds. It's not a big deal. So then you just want to take Eric's here and just smash these dudes into the ground. Again, this is one of those things where like he could do aerial buy-in here, but that's going to make the witch spawn really, really slow. So you're just going to take him out until the witch spawns, and then just keep going with the cycle. The next enemy is just a regular Dream Runner. Toro's just going to be using a small Devil Star and then heading into the fight in order to one cycle it. Like you've seen probably, like you've probably guessed, the primary use of these Devil Stars is really to just make these fights a lot easier, because those enemies can parry you and teleport everywhere, and it's just not a fun time. The only Dream Runner that we don't, or the only mandatory Dream Runner, I should say, that we don't use a Devil Star on is going to be the one that's coming up at like one fight from now. And the way that he actually gets taken out is pretty hilarious. So you're heading through, this is actually pretty cool. I like here they do this little overlay of the blueprint of the plan that Kat's devised. Kind of give you like a little insight into like the background of like the story of what's going on, etc., etc. It does make things a little bit visually convoluted at times, but it's still pretty neat to see as it, you know, fades in and out between that sort of blueprint look, as well as the limbo stuff. So this Dream Runner here, Toro's just going to position himself by this open door, because the elevator here can just kill things in one hit. So the Dream Runner just gets knocked into the elevator and just dies.
What did she say?
This, I believe, is literal corporate hell, where you know, thousands of souls are just sent to just corporate hell, just to, I guess, work forever for the man. Very subtle, as you've noticed. A lot of the storytelling in this game is. And so there's going to be a couple other fights here. Really just, again, utilizing the power of the aerial buy-in. I'm sorry, the ground buy-in here, in order to just smash all the enemies with Trinity Smash. The amount of just utility that Aquila provides is just so good. This is definitely, I think, like one of some of the best crowd control that Dante's seen throughout the series.
That wasn't clean at all, but whatever.
It's all good in the hood. This fight here you would think is mandatory. It's 2 blue rages, but you can literally just grip up to this thing here and then just keep going. Here you just have to stand at this corner and then do buy-in into a Trinity Smash again. It's just 3 regular, like 3, I think, enhanced Stygians. I think their name is, or Elder Stygians. Strange breed. The next is against a Dream Runner, and it's not actually mandatory, so we just go through it. But the bigger enemy here is these laser hallways. If you get caught in the middle of them, you just get pushed backwards immediately. Dante's also a little foul-mouthed here. The foul-mouthed demon hunter Dante. I don't know why that started being a thing in this game, but it is. It just is, so we'll just roll with it. So now that Dante has met up with Virgil, we're going to go to the roof here and start kind of the final stretch of things. This is also where you receive Kablooey. It's a gun that shoots pins into an enemy and you can blow them up. Not super useful at this point. We just have better tools that don't have to stack up. Way better burst damage in the Arbiter, way better crowd control in the Aquila, and Rebellion itself is also no slouch in the DPS department. I think this is also where Dante comments that this is like literal corporate hell. It's like
This is hell. This is hell.
Yeah, this is hell. Yeah, she was right. This is hell.
She was right.
Because it just keeps flashing between floors 157 and 158, and then it starts ticking downward. That's right. And then you eventually head out onto the roof, and you fight the Harpies again, followed by a Tyrant, as well as Dracovac again. And I believe this is the final Dracovac fight in the game.
Yeah, this is the final because it's pretty much the same one, but now we know his name actually.
Ah, yes, Dracovac. And he gets taken down pretty handily there, with the power of Devil Trigger once again. This next mission here, there's just gonna be a little bit of platforming at the very end here, leading up to it. It's called the Furnace of Souls, which is a pretty metal name, if you ask me. There's fire that periodically is activated throughout the entire level, and it can damage Dante really, really heavily if you're caught in it. What Toro's gonna be doing is skipping pretty much like every fight in this level and just going straight to the end of it. He's going to be grabbing some vital stars as well as some devil trigger stars in order to make it a little bit safer to go through here, just in case he takes a little bit too much damage, wants to be able to heal back up. So the first thing that you're going to see here, are you doing infinite climb here or the other version?
I'm doing the normal because it's fast.
Okay, fair. So he's going to use a large double trigger star here, and then he's going to take out the Red Knight with with 4 slashes from Rebellion, and then he's going to pull himself to the top of the fight here until he hits sort of the ceiling of the fight, and then he's going to kill the Frost Knight to deactivate the mandatory fight barrier that's up there, and then just use that to skip like half the level there. That saves a ton of time. And then we're just going to go through here. This next skip here is also going to skip the last fight in the level. Toro's going to be using the geometry on the outside of this arena to navigate through.
I'm not going to do that version.
Oh, okay. Not that version? Okay. You just do an infinite. Is it infinite climb? Yeah, it's infinite climb. Okay, I actually hit the buttons here before a little bit of a delay, but all good. So just going to use the infinite climb here. The other version, like I was talking about, you would actually use the geometry on the outside to sort of maneuver your way around. But with the power of infinite climbs, we don't have to do such tedious things. And that whole mission is just over. This next mission is also going to go by really quick because of an infinite climb. There's a whole puzzle that you'd have to do here, activate some computers and stuff. Toro's just going to do an infinite climb over the trigger for the cutscene, so it never activates. The puzzle is never reset, and then he's just going to be able to hit one dial 3 times, and then that's just going to end the level. So it's going to be really, really quick.
Got it first try.
Yeah, very nice. Good stuff. So right around the trigger there, and then you can just see the cutscene activating right there. This is actually kind of the home stretch here. There's only 2 missions left. The first fight is against Mundus, the big bad of the game. And Virgil and Dante are going to take him down. Excuse me. A little bit hoarse right now. So the idea here is that Mundus can give you like 1 of 3 attacks. One is a large spit on the ground. He can give you a 3-strike attack as well as a single strike attack. We want the single strike attacks so that we can get demon evades off in order to do a ton of damage to the boss. This is also, I think, the first time in gameplay that we see the brothers standing next to each other, just both in limbo. Virgil can do some weird stuff here as well. Like you see him teleporting there. Sometimes he won't teleport. Sometimes he'll just like walk to the next thing, and it can really mess up what you're trying to do. Fortunately, he's being nice to Toro.
Well, I'm making it sure he won't break because I walk into the cutscene, so he shouldn't break at all. That was bad, not my...
Today I learned.
Yeah, 3 hits.
So then, 3 hits there. Yep. I should also note that if Mundus does give Toro the spit, you can actually reset his attack pattern by just jumping into the abyss and taking a little bit of damage. So
Barely missed it.
darn. Overall, no, not a bad Mundus so far. Just gonna use the devil trigger to clean things up. He has to take out its eyeballs here. This is really just kind of a repeat of the Bob Barbas strategies or the Succubus strategies. And Toro, you're gonna have to call time during the next mission because I'm on a little bit of a delay. So there's the reset here on the attack pattern for Mundus, like I was talking about. You can also hit these big piles of trash back at Mundus. For some reason, he just decided to manifest himself as a giant, like, trash and debris demon. And that is the fight there for Mundus. Down pretty clean. At this point, Virgil decides that he wants to become the new ruler of humanity. And Dante and Kat are just like, no, that's not what we're doing out here, bud. That's not why we signed up for this. So, spoilers, you actually got to fight your brother. To stop him from his dastardly plans. Toro's gonna be really just trying to do some nice demon evades into using the axe in order to take out Virgil's health. This is actually the first time you see Virgil's power as well, which is Doppelganger. He wields a katana, and he can also shoot some spectral swords out. Doppelganger will appear a little bit later in the fight. Just as a very like blue, like a big blue copy of himself. And at the very end, it is going to be like what prevents you from fighting him. So Toro, I'll let you go ahead and call time in a second.
Okay, time is coming soon. Okay, and time.
GG.
And that is DmC Devil May Cry any % current patch.
So we did get 2 more donations at the last bit of that run. Do you mind if I read them out?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright, so we got £25 from Not That Obvious saying, great run, great event, great charity. Let's get these goals going.
The world is under my
And then we also
protection
got £10 from Meep Ahoy saying, El Dante.
You're not human.
All right, so Toro, do you want to plug your channel and stuff? Say some
Well,
words.
my Twitch channel is JJ61Toro at the end of twitch.tv/. But otherwise, I mostly run the definitive edition of this game, but sometimes this too. And some other games, but I really enjoy this game. One of the only ones who run this.
Yeah, Toro's really optimized a lot of this game. He took he's really got like some meaty world records in this game. I think he improved it by about like 10 minutes since he started running it. Really good runner. Once again, my name is DE Cosmic. You can find me at twitch.tv/DE Cosmic and DE Cosmic Runs on YouTube.
That was great. Thank you both so much. We will be taking another quick break before we set up for DJ Rebirth and Silent Hill for the Room. So stick around for that and we'll see you back in a bit.